We're starting early today, slightly early. Right, so yesterday we were able to switch scenes using the ESP, and actually I wonder if this still works. It does not. I think I would just need to restart it, because when it fails to connect it probably doesn't do anything. Let's see if I can just easily do that. I'm just going to unplug it and replug it in. Right. If I wait a little bit, I could go to WebSocket settings. There's one that's connected there, 5 seconds in, and I can click. You see it's still working from yesterday. So I can switch scenes with the buttons. So this was kind of like what we planned to do anyways. Now, I want to add way more features to this thing. I want to start adding like outputs like LEDs and stuff like that. But the reality is that testing stuff on the ESP itself takes a while. Just the flashing itself, you want to iterate faster, it's a bit of a problem. And if I want to debug things in my quite incomplete WebSocket or OBS Client implementation, it's going to take a while. Now, because I thought it was fairly easy-ish to have portable code across the ESP and the machine and my machine, I think that I'm going to take the latest version that I have now of the OBS Client as more of a library, and I'm going to port it back to the OBS Client that I had, the other folder that I had basically, and then just have something there so I can start debugging things like getting like, can I get notifications from OBS saying it switched to this scene and things like that, and maybe doing some tests. But anyways, we're going to do that. For this purpose, I've actually taken a backup of the old OBS client just to play with it. And I guess the first one is going to be like, did I change anything in message pack? Because that's something that I wanted to check. I don't think I did, because message pack, there's just an include and a C. And the reality is that I don't think I changed much, but I may have, and I might as well just copy this one as like the source of truth. So what I should be able to do is copy SDEC components message pack.c into OBS client message pack.c. And I'm going to do the same thing with the H1. And it's not H, it's include H. Okay, now I should be able to go into OBS client. My fan is going crazy again. It's just OBS. It's just OBS, and this room is hot, so that's probably what it is. All right, now I want to go to a message pack, and I should be able to do GCC. Is there a make test? Yes. And it's still working, so I've overwritten the thing and it's still working, so that's great. Right, this is still like designed to be used as like a library, but I think what I could do is have some kind of a setup script in the ESP project that with like the right environment variables can just set up links. But yeah, we'll see about that. So message pack should be the easy one. The other one is a little bit more complicated because I had multiple things. I had a WebSocket header only file, which this one is a little bit more tricky, and I don't know if I need to keep it as a header only file because I could reuse it across different things and it could be very convenient. But header only file is not necessarily super useful in the component type of things. I think I'll keep it as a header only file and I'll move it to my PLS project. So I've got this little project that I call PLS because I needed like a 3-letter acronym that whatever, and I just like, I was like, oh, PLS, it means please, and that's just being nice, asking about stuff. And I want to copy in SDEC components OBS include WebSocket. It's obs.h, so that's going to be a bit tricky, but we'll sort it out. And then I want to put it in PLS WebSocket.h. Now, if I go in there and I go into the WebSocket, I'm going to see that I have a lot of stuff in there that's going to be not necessarily regarding the right thing. So all the OBS stuff I can remove, and I'm not going to do a pragma once. I'm going to start by doing a if ndef pls WebSocket h define as pls define pls WebSocket h. I'm going to have a ndef and then if def pls WebSocket implementation, and if this is where I'm going to put the stuff that I need. So for that, what I need is to go into WebSocket.c, which I think is this one. Great. And I can just copy all of this, and obviously the embed TLS is not going to work, but we'll start with something. Okay, there you go. I'm going to paste it right here. Right, so I still have the same problem. I need to go in compile commands and have another one here. And this one is WebSocket. Do I need to change anything else? Test https.c. The rest is just, it doesn't matter the rest. As long as it lets this think that this is defined. Actually, I need to change here ws. So now it thinks it's there. Now obs.h doesn't exist. That's fine. And base64 and AMD doesn't exist either. I need to remove those. So now I should have 5 errors for these things. And so the tricky part there is that basically the WebSocket, my implementation WebSocket is not going to come with support for like the encoding, right? So what I'm going to need to do here is to say if ndef pls WebSocket SHA-1, and I kind of want an error. I do want to have this open. C macro error. Is it hashtag error? Yes. Hashtag error. PLS WebSocket SHA-1 must be defined. And if, right? Yeah, and here is obviously going to error here because it's just it needs to be something. And because I'm developing this, I may actually go here and say WebSocket SHA-1, and I'm actually going to do a base64 as well. There you go. So then I can do the same one here, and I can paste it there and say I'm lucky that they're the same one, base64. And I may have a util one that there's just like it automatically links with like the one I provide, or I want. I may have like just in the documentation saying, oh, if you use base64 and OpenSSL, this is how you use it, but we'll see. One thing I do kind of need here locally is going to be a type def. Well, I don't know if I want to type def pls ws SHA-1, which is going to get a well, I'll have to see what the other signature is. So if I go here, the signature of this one's a bit more complicated, but the one that's super simple is this one. So I've got this output, which is unsigned char star, and I don't really need the out length in there, but I want the input and the length. So it's quite simple. And digest is a unsigned char star. So they're both unsigned char stars with followed by a length. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to say type def pls WebSocket SHA-1 function, void doink, that's how you do it, right? And then unsigned char star size t, unsigned char star size t. And really I want the same thing for base 64. So that's going to help me, and I'm just going to assume that whatever is this is just going to be the name of such a function. I could actually do define base 64, but I think I need to make sure I undef it at the end. We'll see. But I'm going to call it imp, and this is going to be PLSWS base 64, but it's just useless to do it that way. Okay, so now let's go to the next error. Now this is where the issue is, and what I need is to basically have something that goes and says the problem is, like, if I don't define it, it's gonna be a bit tricky. Let's do PLSWS SHA1 FN SHA1 equals PLSWS SHA1. I think I can do that. Incompatible integer conversion, yeah, because PLSWS SHA1 is not really defined as like a real thing, so I'm just going to make it a PLSWS SHA1 FN. PLA. That's the second time I do PLA instead of PLS. Okay, so this is just like a little trick to just get the compiler to be happy, because this is really not defined. But you know, hopefully when it gets actually compiled, it doesn't really do anything. Base 64, base 64, base 64. Right, so now I've got something here. Now I've got a digest, and what I can do is, instead of this, which does the SHA1, I can do SHA1. I don't need the info, the concatenated, the length. So the one thing that I'm missing is that digest should also provide 20, right? The only thing is that digest is the output. So should I say that, like, it should output a C string? Yeah, I think it should. But the thing is, if it does it that way, I would be better off returning the pointer if I'm going to return a C string. I think I'll do that. This will be my signature. Unsigned char. Actually, you know what? Because a SHA1 is always 20, I can actually have it hard code it like that, and I can change the signature. I can change my definition up there to return unsigned char. I don't think I can do this. I think I need to return a pointer. The only thing is that is this how you do it? No. Let me see. I'm gonna use my new AI. I've got a second GPU, so let's see if it can be correct, and then I'll try it with, well, if it even loads there, because it looks like it's just not even loading, and then I'll try googling it. But I want to try it because I need to test that. I need to test that model in that GPU. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to can I return a fixed size array in C from a function. This is much faster. It's like 90 tokens a second there. That's the thing that I'm a little bit annoyed with, because if I do this, this is on the stack. When I do this, this is going to get yoinked. So what I should do instead is I should keep the signature where you just receive it. So I'm still going to do digest, but because I know it's exactly 20, I'm not going to accept a second size. Just delete this. Okay, so back here, I don't need the second size for SHA-1, and I don't know if I can do this. Looks like I can, but then this obviously doesn't work because I didn't define it. Unsigned char digest 20. Okay, so const unsigned char. I mean, yeah, for sure, I'm not changing it, so I should probably expect it. Same thing here, these are just the inputs, so I'm not going to change them. Okay, so that's one thing. And then from there I can, yes, I may calculate the encoded length there, that's fine. Now, the only thing is, when I do this base64 encode, base64 is going to have a different, it's going to have a dynamic size, so I would need to return the length. So I could either just give it as like a pointer to a number where I'm going to store it, or I need to split it into two things, which is one, calculate the length of what the base64 is going to be, two, decide how you want to allocate the memory, three, return it. I think it's better if I allocate the memory internally and then return the length, which is also something I could do by just, why is it so creaky? Which is also going to do by returning a C string. I think my base64 is going to be a C string, while my SHA is going to be, okay, so that's what I'm going to do here. So here, instead of this, I'm going to return nothing. I don't even need to return, because I can do strlen if I want to. So what that means is here, I am not going to do the malloc. The malloc will be done internally. Actually, if it's done internally, I just return it. Don't know why I'm getting. And you get a unsigned char star, wrong, and then you don't provide one. Okay. So here I can just say base64 with output. No, output is not correct. Digest 20, and that's going to give me, I can just directly return it, and I just cast it to a const unsigned char star, which is also the responsibility of whoever uses this to free it. In C, how can I indicate to a caller of my function that the returned pointer must be freed? Documentation is fine, but I think there was yeah, I was reading some like Linux C code, and I saw some stuff in some places that seemed to have annotations that could help with that, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be the case. So I don't need output, I don't need the encoded length, although I might want to keep the encoded length, but I have a copy somewhere else. So yeah, so this actually gets much simpler, where it's like just calculate the thing properly. Now, last thing is that's debug a frame, that's fine, the magic is there. To be honest, the magic, I should probably just put it in the C area right here, because I don't really need to be exported. The debug frame, sure, why not? And opcode, I'm fine with that. A frame, calculate except from key, get opcode name, parse frame, write frame, send. I'm fine with that. This is still lacking in that when I send data, it is not using the bit masking, like using the masking key. Here, I'm not masking the payload. And to remedy this, I just send the masking key as 0, because it's a XOR of 0 is just going to be nothing. So it's not ideal, obviously, it's not fully fledged. So, all right. but there's enough there to do something WebSocket wise. I would like to rename all of these, and I'm going to start with this. So I can't rename this. It needs to be prefixed properly. Okay. Don't know why I did this. That's stupid. Okay, and then here is going to be PLS. I actually want to do this thing where you instead you give it the X and it calls your X, and here you give it the X as well. I think it's slightly cleaner. This can become this in case I need to debug. A double S frame is going to be this, and I need to do it a bunch of them in here. Okay, this is a bit cleaner. Right, so I want to rename all those functions, and the reality is, how would I do that? I mean, I might have to do it by hand, and I hope if I change the header, it changes the implementation as well. Let's try it. Calculate except from key is all the way at the bottom. I realize that send is like binary only. Yeah, so it does change the name there. That's going to make it easier. I'm actually rename that one to send binary as well. Right, so now I've got one library that seemingly would do everything I need. It's the same one, except that I need to provide the encoding and everything. Okay, so I could either write some tests for it, except that I guess you do give it the writer here, so it's not that difficult. Huh. No. Yeah, that's kind of clean. I don't think I need to do much more on that. Alright, so I think I'm going to keep it as it is right now. And next, what I need to do is to remove any reference of it in that new implementation, which is, so that's the old one. I want to go into OBS Client, and in source I've got this, which I'm going to now delete, right? And if I go here, now that's going to start causing some issues. But if I actually, there's one or two things I can do. Can either include, I think I'm going to include in another way. So I think I'm going to say PLS. Yeah, that doesn't work. But I can go into compile commands, and I'm going to have -i PLS. There you go, and I just need to define them, which is kind of like what I needed. And the rest I can work with it. Really? Payload length. Oh, user data. Oh yeah, I did add user data. No, I don't need any user data. And write to server does need a void star data to start with. Okay, PLS send binary. No. Okay, that's fine. PLS frame. Now this is slightly different because you const unsigned char strc and ncmp, so it's going to be const char star. There you go. This is going to be PLS, and there's only one left, which is something there. But actually, I'm looking at this code there, and I realized that I changed the code of the thing that I want to change, because this still has, it doesn't have the start and the end and the stuff like that. So I actually need to discard all of this. Except I may have gone into where am I? Oh, OBS Client. Okay, that's fine. OBS Client is fine. Okay, so let me just redo all of this by copying from sdec component obs.c into obs.c. src main.c. Okay, now I've just deleted everything I've just done. It's not that big of a deal. Right, so obviously ESP-log and everything is going to be tricky, but we'll make it work. Now, instead of OBS, this is where things start again. PLS WebSocket, and then we'll just just delete this. It needs to be defined. Sure. OBS Client is not there, so yeah, I'm missing the obs.h. Like, do I want to make a header only on this one? Maybe I can make it a header only style thing again, because it doesn't take much to change a header only library and just link it as a component in the ESP world. Yeah, let's do that. But I need two things. I need a main.c, which will keep the syntax for like the CLI, and then the OBS. So I'll just split those two. So I'm going to copy src main.c into src obs.h. Okay, and here I'm going to go to obs.h, and I'm going to copy what I'm missing, which is all of this. Yank that, come here, src obs.h. So it's kind of tricky because this is all like restructuring. If and def obs.h. I'll change the name later. I don't know if I want to make it a something else. Let me check. I need this here. Okay. Right. Sorry, I'm just getting lost. I don't think I want to make it a PLS thing. Like PLS is going to be like just general stuff. This is going to be like just its own OBS thing. But like using the OBS prefix is not necessarily a good idea. But who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? I'm not going to distribute this anyways. Right. So in here, then I have a if def OBS implementation, and actually I'm going to call it client. Do I want to call it OBS client? Sure, make it longer. I mean, that's what it is, isn't it? Okay. If def, and then I'm gonna have a good end if at the end. That's gonna be a little bit messy. Okay, so compile commands is gonna get OBS WS implementation. OBS WS client. There you go. SHA-1 is not there, that's fine. I'm still working on that. And then that's an implementation, that's good. I think I may want to like give the opcodes, like to have the opcodes part of the header. I don't see why not. I am going to transform it into this other syntax as well. Okay, so a lot of like just move stuff around, relink it. It's just not super interesting, but it will be when it starts working. OBS OP request bash, yeah, it's because here you want this. There you go. And then there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, I'm not going to need max event and max buffer length or the key. Like, this is all going to have to change a little bit. Write to server MP finding map. So this is where I'll restart my PLS send binary with no. But that's where it's a bit odd because, oh no, I'm already using the new syntax. That's why. PLS send binary. This is where the logging happens. So if I use it as a, yeah, I'm gonna have my own like dumb logging thing, which is gonna be, I only need it in here, so I'm gonna put it right there. And if ndef log. But like, how do I do levels and stuff like that? I think I might just keep it to like print with the same format. It says printf. If ndef printf, yeah, I think I'll do that. Define printf. That way you can override it. And then I'll just have, yeah, it's just a bit dumb, but let's do that. PLS frame, dumb printf. PLS. PLS. And to be honest, handshake sent, I don't really need it. Okay, and then there's a stop and the dispatch, which I think is great. And obviously start is probably going to need to receive some of those things. And I could actually implement a it would be a bit, I would have to bring that from the IP camera plugin, but I could have a non-blocking connect using init just get ADDR info. I think for now I'll just stick with the string of an IP and then something like that. Which I'm going to do it right now actually. Simpler. Const char star ADDR and int uint32t port. Should be super simple. ADDR port. ADDR is IP. And of course, I changed the signature, so that's going to be an issue. OBS WS set current program is going to be renamed to OBS Client. All right, the only thing left is this SHA-1 and things like that. Okay, I may have to live with that error right now. Because like I'm in this weird development. I mean, I could have it in there. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. All right, I'll think about it another time. Okay, so message pack is not a header only thing, but it's already set up, and this is all set up as well. Okay, great. So can I then Okay, so reading is just the buffer length. Okay, can I take this and make it work with my, well, I'm gonna start with my local main one. That should be super easy. So main is gonna be changed by quite a lot, because the only thing I need to have now is OBS WS client implementation, and I need to get obs.h, which can be deleted there, and then I can remove tons of all these things realistically, with the main function being the exception, right? Read int, handshake request. Even the handshake is going to have to change a little bit. I've got start and stop. Ah, yes. So I actually don't have, I can delete all these because I don't have the old copy. Actually, I do have it. I kept it there. I have it here so that I can just have the same main, just for like the epoll and everything. Okay, let's put it there. Right. CLI scene name const char star CLI scene name. Okay. Epoll fd in32t epoll fd. Epoll create is going to be sys epoll. ADDR is going to be struct sock ADDR in ADDR. Client FD is going to be this, right? And then event struct epoll event. Okay, I should have max event at some point and events. Okay, so events, max events, hashtag max define, max events 8. Always forget this thing. Send handshake request. Okay, so this is where things get interesting, because I also need a struct OBS client. Okay, and this is gonna be OBS client start with end client 192.168.0.106 followed by 4455. Okay, and let me see, family and connect can disappear with the fact that client FD doesn't exist anymore. But what I can do is slap it there, remove the connected, and instead of client FD, which I should actually not have, I can use client.client FD. Cool. Okay, it's there. And this is going to be OBS client dispatch and client, and then I just need to do this is still fine. In here I just need to do OBS client stop. There you go. The only thing I'm not sure about is like, where does it actually send? I don't have the thing that sends it, so I can do the dispatch and everything, but I kind of need to figure out when it's in the right state. So what I should do is like dispatch, and if client dot state equals OBS. The problem is that my state may be no, it's here. So I should rename all of these. Yeah, OBS Client state. Okay, now I'm gonna have a bunch of errors, which I should be able to remedy if I actually do s state underscore replace with OBS Client state underscore g. Okay, if it is OBS Client state in flight, then I should do sent equals true. So if not sent, and this sent is true, and OBS Client set current program seen by name, and client followed by where is it? Oh, I completely removed the thing that I was supposed to. Oh no, CLIC name is here. Okay, that's what I need, and then I just need a global bool sent equals false. What the fuck am I doing? Okay, so this is all seemingly correct. This does not have an implementation, so that's where I need to have my old WebSocket implementation. Ah, but that's not old, is it? Because I need these two. Yank. And then I'll just slap them right here. Oh, I just obviously didn't put it in the right place. By that I mean the right clipboard. Ooh, a bit tired. I'm doing the wrong things here. So what I need is to create two functions here. Static void SHA1 with a unsigned star input, let's say buffer, size t buffer len char unsigned char 20 output. Okay, that's how you do it. And then another one which is going to be that, but for base 64, which will return a const unsigned char star. And then I can do the problem that I'm going to have is that if they're not defined as headers, is it going to be able to link properly? Like when I'm going to build when I'm going to try to compile, as long as it's in the same file as the OBS, yeah, playing the machines will be fine. Okay, great. So that's what I can do. Define PLSWS base 64 and SHA1. So now it should be fine. I realized that in PLS Did I put only one error? No. Okay, that's great. So I don't need to do any of that. Right, so we should be fine. Now these obviously didn't know the right thing, so it's not correct. And for that, I can basically go back to here and not really. Then go back to here and WebSocket.h, and I should find here how this works. And there's uppercase SHA-1. That should be quite simple for what I need, which is right here. There you go. Return buffer length unsigned chart star with output. I don't even need to return anything, it's just this. Right, that should be I kind of want to inline it, but if I can't really, I could inline it actually, because this is just me forwarding the thing, and by saying inline, which you probably would be anyways, it just avoids having an extra call, which to be honest, this in WebSocket is called once, so I don't think it does matter that much. And next we have the encode state and the block end and all that shebang there. That one's a little bit more tricky. Keep doing the wrong thing here. And the only thing that I'm missing is maybe the length, but I'm not too sure about that. Oh, I do the length here. Buffer and buffer length, and this is going to be buffer length. So actually, I'm going to Google it. How to calculate length of base 64 from input. So you need 4 times n over 3, as it needs to be rounded up to a multiple of 4. So I think this, what I have is correct, because 4 times something divided by 3, which I'm going to add the brackets there to help. And then plus 3 and negate stuff is just to round it up. Okay, great. Unsigned char. This is const char. I mean, I guess this is the input, so I could have consted it. I'll do that. And what is this? Const unsigned char star to parameter const char converts between. Okay, that's fine. Const char star. I'll just cast it. Okay, and I'll just return base 64 encoded. Now that one I don't necessarily want to change it. To like inline it. Okay, so this should be what I need. Now I may want to change the make file, because SSL crypto message pack yes. Actually, I might not need to do any of that. Can I get the OBS client back to normal? Okay, so this is where things are a little bit different. So WS.h, that's not correct. I don't need anything from that, unfortunately. Okay, and no such file directory, and it's because I just need to add -i. It's a bit messy, but we'll just do it this way. So now it seems to have worked, and I can do bin client missing, and if I say chat, I got 2. I got to accept key mismatch and then 2 errors. Now it's possible that well, first of all, it did something that seems to have worked-ish. It didn't change the chat. Okay, let me see, because what's going on with my PC now? Don't know what it's like finding like crazy. Oh, I had blocked, my vent was blocked. Okay, that explains why. This should be better. Should calm down. But yeah, OBS has got like a bunch of stuff going on. My bar is now going up as well, 17% CPU. So why would the bar use 17% CPU when it's literally doing nothing? Now the bar is going up. That's probably what it is. Alright, we'll see. But I might need to do something like not use a laptop for that type of stuff. Anyways, right, so first of all I get 2 shutting downs, which I'm not sure exactly what that means. I think it's because I got one in my main and one in my end, so I'm going to start with that. I don't think I need something that prints shutting down at the end. I just need to clear those things. Also, I should free the accept key here. And here. Yeah, and then there's a mismatch, and basically there would be a mismatch because I'm doing an str and CMP, and I'm not comparing them the right way because my accept key is the one that is actually my accept key is not null terminated right now. That's the problem with my my current implementation of the thing. So what I need to do is, for sure, I actually need to change. So string 1, string 2. So I should swap them to, first of all, because I want to avoid overflowing header value, right? But the second parameter is the string. It compares only the first n bytes of S1 and S2, so it doesn't really matter that much. But it also means that I could actually have a base 64 calculated thing that is shorter than my header. I could have said I could have a header that's longer, and that would mean that I would read past that one. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do memcmp, and then I'm going to do header value length, and then finish with accept key and strlen of accept key, which I don't think I need to cast at this point. So what is memcmp? So should I just do the minimum of them two? It's kind of annoying. But we're going to do size t smallest n is no, I want to start with size t accept value len accept key strlen accept key, and then I can do this. I can say if accept key len is smaller than header value length, then accept key length, otherwise header value length. Okay, that should be much better already. And the one thing I'm missing is obviously in my in my main, this is actually incorrect in that encoded length needs to be that, yes, but I do need to do a +1 so that I have a space at the end, which I will then use to say save some space by doing this. That way it sets the memory to 0 for sure, and then I don't write the last one, which should help. Exact key mismatch. So now I can start debugging. Printf %s except key. That's going to be a problem because it is not recompiling when this one changes, obs.h. So I do need to do src obs.h. src dir. Okay. What the hell? Base 64 encoded. It's returning the source. It's not. It's returning something that is not even. It just returned the concatenated stuff. Let me just open another one. So what do you do there? Am I returning the wrong one? I'm returning base 64 digest. How is it possible that the digest would contain the unshad version of the thing? Accept key. Calculate accept from key. Yeah, it just concatenates them and then returns that. Now maybe I'm getting an incorrect value where I'm pointing to something on the stack that shouldn't be there. Because it is legitimately not doing anything to it. Oh, it's literally not calling my SHA-1 function. But it must be doing something. Let's create OBS. OBS. Oh, that's interesting. So maybe SHA-1 and the other one were kind of defined as functions that do nothing, somewhat. Because now I've renamed them, it says they're not defined. I guess they would need to be defined before here. Now it's complaining about calloc. Wow, this is odd. No, it's not odd. Okay. This is what happens when you do some weird stuff. Ah, identified and a knight hangs. Did it move the scene? No. Right, so this is correct. That looks to be much better now. And this whole block there, all of this could be something that I just provide in like PLS utils, and you can just use that as a macro maybe. Although I can't put macros in macros, we'll have to just see how we do that. Okay, so remove the printf, go here, remove the accept key. Now it goes to identified. Which probably comes from print opcode, or I probably have a thing that's just, yeah, this one. There you go. And this is identified, and if it's identified and I was waiting for server identify, then I go to in-flight and that dispatch, and that should return 0 because I kind of falls out of the thing. Realistically I should just return it right here because I'm not really, yeah, so that's fine. I can just keep it there anyways, doesn't matter. So I am in flight, so if I go into main, this is only if it's failed, so I should do else and then put the code there instead. And realistically I could just do this. Okay, I just okay, I did something wrong there. Delete this, paste it right there, and just else if, and remove one of those and format it for me. Okay, make chat identified. It changed, but it didn't exit because I really don't have a way to do that right now. So I should do things like else if send. So anything that I receive after send, I should say go to end. Make, go to chat, it finishes, it swishes it. I got the program that works as kind of a library. Now it's not super complete because there's tons of stuff that's left, that's missing. And one of the ones that's going to be really difficult is that when I do something like that, I should get back, or at least I should, or maybe I provide, depending on how I want to allocate stuff, some kind of like handler or like an opaque object that would allow me to figure out that, oh, you just got something from OBS, and how to handle it. So like then it could be like a client state is like something that was received, or I don't know. I guess OBS client dispatch could be something that yeah, I don't know exactly how that works because I'm gonna have to internally parse the thing and see what I want to do with it. So I'll have to say like if I'm in this, I guess if I'm in the in-flight state, dispatch always returns kind of a frame, but it could be a partial frame because it could be big, and if it's a partial frame I need to buffer it. I can't just like keep it in there, right? I have to message pack the right. So this is where things get a bit complicated if I want to move forward. So do I want to how do I want to do that? Do I either say, well, actually the client, the OBS client, has like an internal buffer, not the one that is like static on the stack for receiving data, another one where the data gets copied if the given payload that I just read is not big enough to receive all the data. I think I'm going to go naive first and assume that the buffer size that I picked is the right size. I think I'm going to start with that. It's a bit dumb, but I'll just do that. I'm actually really hot now in this room. I didn't think that would be the case. Okay. Before I do that, should I try to start porting those changes to ESP? Because realistically, the only thing I need to do there is message pack WS. WS is as its own thing, and then OBS. That should be easy. Yeah, let me do that. So first, the easiest one-ish is going to be message pack. Now message pack, there's a C and a H. And realistically, I've literally just copied it across, so there's nothing to do there. The next one is this OBS, and I didn't do a separate one for WebSocket, but I do want to do it. So I'm going to go into I'm going to do the export thing. Let's make sure I remember to do that. Oh man, that room must have kept like the heat of the whole day. When I came in, it was like nice and warm, and I was like, oh, it's nice. But I think the reason why my laptop was heating up is because this room is legitimately hot and my ears were starting to burn. I opened the door a little bit and I can hear like the wood and the plastic and the metal in this room like banging a little. That goes to show it went like it's basically cooling down really quickly. Anyways, the difference between inside and outside must have been quite high. So okay, let's port these libraries back to here. I will need idf.py should have a thing which lets me create a component, and I can do a -c if I remember well. Create component and then -c. So create component -c comp. Oh, I'm not in the right folder. Okay, idf.py create component -c components, and this one's going to be WebSocket. Okay, now I should do a link, which I always forget which order. It's target and then link name. So target and then link name. Target. Okay, so first target ln-s home workspace pls WebSocket into home workspace sdec components ws include ws.h. File exist. Well, that's going to be very simple. Okay. Now, I think I can remove the C here because I don't really need it, but no, I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to remove all of these. The only thing I'm missing here is, before including it, I need two things. I need hashtag plsws define implementation, right? And the other thing is I need those two functions that I have. So I'm going to quickly copy the signature at least to make it easier. It's inside OBS Client source main.c, and they're right here. I just need to replace their this implementation with the one that I want here. There you go. And obviously I'm missing the stuff inside there. So For that, I can refer to the current implementation of OBS ws.c, which has those embed thingies, which I can copy and paste. And I also want to get these two and paste them there, right? So this is correct, and this is how you do SHA-1, and this is how you do base64. Okay. I don't need to allocate the digest, and concatenated is not a thing. It's going to be buffer, which already has the right signature, and buffer length. Now I don't think I need to put this one inline because there's just a little bit more involved, so I'm going to leave it like that. And then for OBS, for base64, which I mean realistically I should do this, which is going to be SHA impl. Okay, malloc sure, because I do a +1 already, and the digest is hard-coded to 20, which is not correct. It's going to be buffer and buffer length, and encoded length instead of 20 is going to be buffer length, right? That seems to be correct. Keep that here. And then out length is just red, but I don't really need to use it. And then I'll just return it base64 encoded. Great. And then I can do base64 impl and SHA-1 impl. Now that I've got all of this, I need to go to CMake list of OBS, and you're gonna need WS, but not embed TLS. And you're not gonna need you're not going to need these. You're not going to need sources, basically. Okay. Which also reminds me that in the CMake list of WebSocket, you're not going to need sources either, because you're actually I just did the wrong thing there. You do need it. Okay. It's in priv requires embed TLS, and now OBS only needs a message pack and WS. And to be honest, I may actually keep it with srcs obs.c for a reason that's gonna come a bit more clear. Okay, so now I want to delete this one, and I kind of want to delete this one, but I'm gonna just do it by doing this, and I'm gonna have define OBS implementation include obs.h, and that's all I need in here. And this is where I go to here, include OBS can disappear, and I can do this component OBS include obs.h is going to be workspace OBS client OBS src obs.h. Okay, so this includes the thing here with OBS implementation, that you can use it. The WebSocket one has the thing implemented there, so you can use it as well, so you don't need to do anything. It's included only once, and all is good. Now let's go back to the last component that hasn't been touched, which is the main one, which I'm going to change this you're going to need OBS. I don't need to change anything here there actually. But in hello world main and everything, obs.h, yes. But you're going to have a bunch of errors, which I will discover by doing idf.py build. Let's see. So message pack in OBS does not exist. Okay. CMake lists of OBS, a message pack in prev requires. Okay. What does it say? Commitment with obs.h includes message pack provided by message pack component. Okay. However, message pack component is in the private requirements of OBS. To fix this, move message packs from pre-requires to requires list. Okay. I think it's just me not really understanding the difference between prev requires and requires. Which I might have to move more stuff around. Okay, OBS Client start is causing an issue now, and set scene by name. So yeah, they just have different names, which is great. So hello world, OBS Client start. Now you need. I don't have it really hard coded anymore, so I need to provide it here. 192.168.0.106 4455, so I should fix it. And then the set the program is because it's OBS Client that I renamed it to. Yeah, let's try that. Base 64 encoded undeclared. That makes sense. It's in ws.c. Base 64 encoded doesn't exist because it's actually called output. Yeah. Okay. Digest. Yes. So what is this? Info buffer buffer digest. Digest is like where I'm going to put it, and this is actually called output. I think we're almost there. After almost 2 hours, we're going to be back exactly where we started. Okay. Undefined reference to OBS Client start, which, yeah, dispatch, and so all of these are in the header file, but not necessarily in the C file. And I think it's because if I go in my OBS implementation is completely wrong. It's OBS WS Client implementation, which now have something else there, which is PLS obs.h, which is not here. I probably have an include in the wrong place. Yeah. plsws.h. I guess because it's called plsws.h, I probably need to call it plsws.h in the other one as well. I think that's where the problem would be. So now I just need to go back here, and I need to, I don't know if I can move a symbolic link. You can, apparently. The only thing I'm missing here is in ws.c. I am going to need to include PLS WebSocket. Okay. Right, so now it must be defined, and it's not defined. But it is defined right here at the time of implementation when this is there. So this is where maybe my define from the outside logic might not work properly. So it's saying it's not defined, right? That's what it's saying. So obs.c includes obs.h. obs.h includes pls.ws.h. I wonder if it's including it too early. Unless if I put the error in the header file, then that would cause an issue. In the header section, but I'm pretty sure I put it in the implementation section. Yeah. So that should only error in the file that, but I'm also setting pls SHA-1 before that. PLSWS implementation. PLSWS implementation, and they're defined right here. And then I import it. Unless I import it somewhere else with PLSWS in there as well. I think I do it in OBS, don't I? And I shouldn't do that. I think I shouldn't do that. That would make sense. OBS here. Yeah, so I shouldn't do implementation here. I should just say use the header file. Yeah, okay. Okay, and obs.h send. Okay, now I can flash. Hopefully this is all correct. I mean, to be honest, if it compiles at that point, and I just moved a few things around. But the good thing with this is that now I've got my the exact same code base for WebSocket, Message Pack, and OBS can be used for the ESP and my machine, which means I can use that for testing stuff without having to go on the other one. Okay, so accept key mismatch. Right, so this is just going to be a problem of the base 64 implementation, and then I think it's going to be the null termination issue. So let me just print it to start with, except that I can't really go into OBS and print it right now. I would have to go here, and hopefully it would rebuild because it knows it's a link, but I don't necessarily think it would be clever enough to that. So the accept key is literally just a string. Okay. Now I don't know if build will actually work. Oh, monitor is not what I wanted to do. It's flash that I wanted to do. Let's see what time it is. Okay, we've still got a bit of time. Yeah, I think it's just this null termination issue, because the embed TLS implementation was automatically adding the null terminated stuff at the end, while the other one didn't, and I had to manually add it, and I wonder if that's the issue. Okay, now I'm getting some garbage. I'm getting some garbage. I used to have this garbage when my encoded length was not long enough. So what I could do is try to do something like printf %d and say encoded length, but before that buffer length. Right, so for this one I am going to need to rebuild. I just don't necessarily like the I don't necessarily like the clang error. Like, it doesn't look good. I like the GCC one better. I may be wrong, and actually this is the GCC one and I like the clang one better. I don't remember. Well, when I do GCC on my machine, it should be GNU C compiler, it should be GCC, not clang. And this one does explicitly say ESP clang, right? So connect to Wi-Fi. Right, so 20 is the input and 24 is the output. That doesn't seem necessarily correct. I know why. It's because I'm not I'm calculating the wrong thing. Why am I receiving 20? Oh yeah, I am receiving 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now I should be getting less than that, right? That's the thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so that should actually have it in this instance. And yet, when I calculate it, I seem to be doing the wrong thing there. 4 times the divided by 3. Is it because I added these brackets that it changed the result? It doesn't really matter too much in this instance, because if it's bigger and I put something smaller in it, okay, like that doesn't really cause an issue. Maybe it's the casting that causes an issue. I also have this output length is, yeah, correct, and I've got buffer and buffer length, and buffer is going to be the thing that I need. Okay, so the last thing I need there from this is going to be the outlen. Which is, I think, well, actually this one is like this. I want to see what it gives me back as a out length. Oh, but that's the thing. If I do a malloc and I didn't zero the other side, then it could potentially cause some issues. Even though I'm just like printing something, and yeah, I don't know actually. I had the same problem yesterday, and I did a +1 somewhere, and it just fixed it. Actually, not necessarily what I want to do now. I just want to understand it a little bit better. So 20, 24, 29. So it seemingly wants 29. I wonder if like the contents would change. That is way more than 20. That's not a SHA-1 digest. Oh, it's because it's hex. Well, it's kind of annoying. I think I like this one better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. This one's got the equals at the end for like the padding. But this is definitely more than what the other one showed me, so that's just like ridiculous. I guess you can't really know, it's just like what the max would be. But yeah, so there seemed to be a problem where I am getting 20, I need 29 and I'm only allocated 24, which is the issue. I guess that if it doesn't fit, embed TLS is going to give me the size, and then I can just do that. I think this is embed TLS base 64. this is where I want to see encode, right? If the length is 0, return 0, okay. This is embed TLS error base64 buffer too small. So I think that's what I'm getting. I'm getting a buffer too small thing. And this is actually the number. And if n is bigger than max minus 1 over, then it gives me the size. So I want to set it to 1 maybe. I should probably just like check this value. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Because I don't want to do calculation, I can call this twice. So what I can do is, it's not great, but you know, I don't know what it returns. Int ret equals do while ret equals too small. And then in there, I'm going to do doink, paste it. No. I'm doing the wrong thing. I don't need to do a do while. I just need to do if ret equals too small. Let me just check something quickly. Okay, so I don't think I can ever, I mean, MA, like I don't think anything can fit into base 64 that doesn't have, yeah, so if I give it 1, right, and if I say null 1, and I get the out length, and buffer, okay, let's get the wrong one, because that's the output length, I'm going to say 1, then the buffer I'm going to say null, and then the buffer length, that's the correct buffer length. I need to give the right buffer length. So at this point I want this to happen, and I want to say output equals malloc out length, and it might be a +1, I'll have to see about that. And then I can just redo this with the actual data, the out length which I have, the out length which I have, and the output. This should be fine. I'm just going to make this a null so I don't malloc it for no reason, and I can remove the encoded length. Right, so the idea is I may want to do something like, if it's different from too small, return output. Otherwise, I'll just do this, and I may need this to be pasted right here. All right, let's try that. Well, the idea is like, I kind of know ahead of time that I'm making something that is too small, because realistically, 1 for the capacity of my output for base 64 encoding is definitely too small. So it'll always end up being correct. And also, especially since this is divided by 4 somewhere, this is like, yeah, it's the length divided by 3. This is immediately going to go like 0, or maybe 1 over 3 is going to be 0 anyways. But like the length modulo 3 is going to be 1. So it's just going to be this number, which I don't think is going to necessarily work. Right, monitor, see how it goes, and then see where. Okay, identified, and now I can press a button, and it works again. So now it's all linked properly, and I can do more stuff. you want to see closer. Got these two, there's the two buttons there. This one is the code one, and this one is switches to that, which I guess is not ideal because it switches to a scene that you can't see. I might change it to phone cam scene. Let's try that, just for fun. So instead of chat, I want to phone cam scene. And I'm just gonna not print this because there's a few things I need to do. Right, I'm gonna start a to-do, and then we can start knocking the things down in there. Right, so one, there is the request response management in OBS, obs.h. Two is going to be event queue in ESP32 program. So this is going to be event FD tracking of events. The idea is that I can create a queue and then notify when there's something on the queue, which, to be honest, like feels like I could use the X queue that ESP has, but I need to integrate with the polling, and I don't know if I can just put something on the queue. Like, it has kind of a notification mechanism that I don't really need. So instead I could just have my own state and say, oh, you can only have like 8 events on the queue and have a type. Like, that's probably the easiest thing to do, and I can just dispatch them. So now there you go. You're debouncing. There you go. Right, so that also must be a bit dizzying to just have those switches. Right, so this is what I have to do. Now, it is 10, it's Friday, so I could either just end early, or I could do the event queue or do the OBS response. Now, OBS response is a bit of a tricky one to implement because it's going to have its internal state, and there's a bit of message pack stuff to play with. But in summary, what OBS response would be is change the thing called in-flight to connected or ready, right? Or streaming, or whatever you want to call it, right? And then when it's in that state, instead of doing nothing in the dispatch thing, you would handle whatever comes in. And then when you send a request, you probably have to send a request wrapper. You would have kind of a unique ID number for that request, and you would actually stack it up into some sort of maybe a fixed size. You know, this is how many maximum requests you can have, you know, in parallel, and you just put it in there. And when you have anything coming back from OBS and the opcode is request response, right? Because I think that's what it is. Then you can actually find the request that was in flight in there, and then kind of handle it. And the way it would be handled would be to give back to, as a return of dispatch, some kind of state. So like when you dispatch, I guess the way I would do dispatch is like maybe do a while loop, because you could have more than one request, but let's just say it's one at a time. When you do dispatch, you would receive something that it's either null, which is continue, or it would say end, which can end, or it's something that just says you've got a this request was responded to. So even better then, the caller allocates memory for the request, which would also contain some kind of like space for the response, right? And you would just store the pointer with the maximum concurrency on those pointers, maximum like number of the one that we have. And then when you finish a dispatch, you basically set something in there, and then the dispatch would return a light state, right? But something that would potentially tell you this is what happened, like this is the end, or we're still in flight, or whatever, like state change, or a request got a response, and you would have the pointer to that request, and then the data would be in there. You'd have a pointer to like the message pack stuff that you could potentially handle. I think that's pretty simple to deal with. It's quite a bit of work, and I'm happy doing the thinking about it right now, but I don't know if I want to get started on the code. I think I want a bit of a rest there. Yeah, we've done nothing today, basically. We're exactly back where we started, except that we've got a portable WebSocket header-only thing, which does not even implement the full thing of WebSocket. I can only send binary. I'm not XORing the client binary that is being sent. Yeah, it's a bit messy, but it's just enough of what I need. Message pack was super simple. I mean, I copied the file, so I should probably just like link the header and the C file instead of having it the way it is, but for now it's fine. And for OBS, yeah, we moved it to a client. The one big change, I guess, was that my CLI thing that I used to just switch between the scenes now relies on OBS as kind of like a header-only library rather than having the whole code in one place. But yeah, that'll be it for today. I think I'm done. I'm happy with what we did, and you know, I can click on the buttons and it switches. See? It's all on the ESP, but it's handling things pretty well. So this one, I got it wrong. All right, that's it. Bye.